Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
After the 1989 and 1994 wreck, it's a huge nightmare for railroaders. But could this thing get worse? 2 years later, another wreck happened. On February 1st, 1996, Santa Fe Manifest H-BALT 1-31 departed Barstow Yard in Barstow, California. The train consisted of 4 engines, ATSF 157 in the lead, which is a GP60M, GP50 3853 second, a GP60B number 342, and a GP60 4031. It left Barstow at 1 o'clock in the morning. The train was carrying tires, plastic pellets, fillet boards, pipes, lumber, coils, and hazardous materials, including pesticides, in 7 tanker cars.
The train made a stop at Victorville, California to test the brakes. The brakes worked fine and they kept going, but it stopped again in Summit, California to wait for a signal. They tested the brakes again and they worked fine. After being cleared at 3:40 in the morning, they entered Cajon Pass. As they went down the hill at Cajon Pass, the engineer initiated the dynamic brakes on 157, but as soon as he set the dynamic brakes, the train was accelerating. The engineer hit the independent brakes, but it slowed down. The speedometer creeped up to 45 miles per hour. There's nothing they could do to save their train. They tried everything to stop, but nothing worked. The conductor and the brakeman bailed out at 157, but the engineer stayed on. He set the train into reverse, but that didn't work either. Then the nightmare came. A curve was approaching him by the trestle bridge. He ducked down and braced for impact.
The train jumped the tracks at 4:10 a.m. 157 was on its right-hand side, while the other 3 were crushed by the cars that were piling up on top of them. 45 out of the 49 cars derailed and smashed into one another. The engineer, who was in 157, crawled down to the damaged locomotive. 2 people who heard the wreck came to help the engineer, who was badly injured. The conductor, however, jumped the wrong way. He hit his head on a rock, which killed him instantly. The brakeman survived from jumping the train, but later died from carbon monoxide poisoning by the fire. Smoke rose into the air that can be seen miles away. Interstate 15 was shut down, and locals near the wreck were evacuated. 1 tanker car carrying a flammable liquid, butyl acrylic, was found to have its internal temperature rising from the heat. 4 days later, on February 5th at 9:44 p.m., the car was ventilated by using plastic explosives. That was no longer a threat. Interstate 15 was reopened at 11:47 p.m.
The National Transportation Safety Board concluded the probable cause was the same reason why the ATSF intermodal train ran away and collided with a UP coal train in 1994, a kink of an air hose that triggers the brakes. Between car 5 and 9 had their air brakes kinked, cutting off the train's brakes, which more likely led to this collision. In the end, 3853 and 4031 were deemed damaged beyond repair and scrapped, while 157 and 342 were repaired and returned to service. 157 was repainted to its fake body paint until it was repainted again in 2003 in an H2. In 2017, it was repainted to H4 and still has its original H4 paint scheme to this day. 342 was repainted to its fake body scheme as well until it was repainted in 2003 until H1. 342 still has its H1 paint to this day. It's been 27 years since this collision. A memorial was built to honor the 2 crew members that died, including the 1989 and 1994 Runaway. Since then, no runaway trains will never happen again. When an air brake pressure drops too much from a leak or even a kink, the train's emergency brakes automatically apply.